We're back.
We accept the challenge of providing dangerous, thought-provoking, and sometimes controversial insights into life's most common topics.
I don't know why I packed the hollow points.
Did you just say hollow points?
Yeah. Probably should have brought a super soaker.
What is it with you and the names, man? Because the name really don't matter. It's the person, I thought. Why do you care what a person's name is, or why does a name turn you off?
I believe that there's a lot to be said in the time and the energy that it takes in your parents naming that child. And I will say this, I give a subtle pass to those who are named after someone in their family. Obviously, we're going to get into the male and female dynamics of this. But I know for my grandmother, my maternal grandmother, my mom's mom, they had a tradition of some part of your name had to be somebody in the family's name so you could honor that person. So my aunts, a lot of their middle names are my grandmother's sister's first names or something to that degree. And that went on for a long time. I haven't 23andMe the shit, but that's been going on where somebody's got somebody's name in their name. And I have a little bit of that. Now, my brother didn't have that. He had a combo name and where they split the difference. But more of the story is a lot of my my grandmother's beliefs was that, you know, you had to honor the ancestors or honor your folks by putting somebody's name in one of these kids' names. As it relates to women, I feel completely different because I'm one that does not believe in a Charlene Jr. You know, for a girl, like I don't believe a woman should be naming her daughter after her. That's saying a lot about her hubris and her personality. But I understand what you think is the product, but you can put a nice steak on a new and shiny garbage can lid, and the delivery fucked up the whole steak. Right? Even though it's new, it's a garbage can lid. Even though it's new,
punishing these people for
yes,
choices that their parents made before they were even here.
Absolutely. And I do believe in inherited punishments. Absolutely. I don't think people should be judged on their own merit solely once they get into a point in which they could make a difference or they could change that. I think that at some point you got to pick up a nickname that you ride out in a fight over. And it's funny because now that I'm saying this to you, I'm thinking about people who had names, and we'll get into it. We can get into it.
I'm ready. Whenever.
Okay, so when I was a child, and this is now we're gonna go to the boys' side of it. Okay, from a boys' side of it, when I was in grade school, we got into a situation where so think about this is the time where you have phone books, right? And so ultimately, the school had directories. They were student directories, and your parents or your moms or whomever could pay $5 or whatever it was to get a student directory, and it would have the names of the students and their parents phone numbers. I don't know why they were doing this, but at my school, I went to a predominantly white school, but this was cool at predominantly white school. Now, what these white folks didn't understand when they did this was, you giving me all these kids' mama and daddy's names.
Oh yeah, that's ammo.
That's all that is. That's all it is.
I used to love using that.
That's all it
Say anything about me, I'll be like, man, Miss Anita gave me this. Like,
exactly.
Man.
So it started with a cat named Cecil. My earliest memory of this being so profound was it was a cat named Cecil in the 6th grade, and his dad's name was Cleophas. He didn't have a chance. He didn't have a chance. And his dad's name was Cleophas. So I think that's one of the things that some people think is cute. Some people think it's endearing. I just have always had a problem with it. Now, keep in mind, I also come from a place where nicknames were very prevalent. So growing up, I'm trying to think of who I knew that didn't have a nickname. And maybe my brother. Maybe my brother was the only person that didn't have a nickname. Unless now my brother had a friend and his legal name was Alpha. So you don't need to nickname that. Like that's it's a incomparable double down if you nickname
Alpha?
somebody named Alpha. Yes.
Okay. So my brother-in-law's middle name, I didn't find this out to the wedding,
Okay.
was Durfla.
Oh, like a
His
like a sneeze.
his dad's name was Alfred, and it was backwards.
Wow, that's you trying too hard, fam. You trying too hard. You and I recently had this conversation where my best friend, his legal first name was Willard, and of
Yeah, yeah.
course he ran from that. He ran from that.
Mhm.
So his name was Willard Demetrius, and so he at school before they even asked, "Do you prefer?" He would make sure first day of school, "Hey,
Right,
I prefer
right.
to be called Michi. I prefer to be called Michi.
Oh, he
Can
didn't
you
want to be
please?"
Will.
He didn't even want it to be read out in front of the other children because that's not a cool name at all. I don't know what year it was a cool name, but to his credit, he was named after his daddy. His daddy was Willard. He was Willard. But
Well, what's Steph Curry's name? Steph Curry got his dad's name right.
Wardell.
Uh,
Wardell.
Wardell. Yeah.
Wardell. Wardell. And you see how he nicked it? You see what I'm saying? He is not Wardell Jr.
Yeah. Yeah.
You see how his dad nicked it? His dad is Dale Curry.
But his
He
dad
ain't
didn't
right out
even
with
like the
Wardell.
name.
Yes.
So why you
exactly.
make your son go through it? I didn't want to make my sons go through it.
I think there's a level of confidence that happens. Obviously, it takes something in you to be special. And when you have a name that's different, you have early on no choice but to be special. And it's a situation where you can't confuse you with somebody else. Like it wasn't two of y'all. Like when she said his name, they knew who to go after. You know what I'm saying? At least my
Yeah,
name is
I
really
wanted to
common and
confuse him,
biblical. So yeah. So but yeah, I think so. That's where the start of unique names being more of a burden than anything else. And then of course I also came up in the era where I don't think it happened when I was a kid, but when the kids I was around started having kids in their teens or whatever, that's when the unique spelling started to come up, and people start putting accent gras in the English names and all this.
Well, hold on. Let's start off with that then, because you have some
Okay.
confusing beliefs.
Okay, give it to me.
What issue do you have with girls whose name end in I?
Oh, I don't know. I don't understand. I don't understand why you circumvented the why. Oh, like you forcing the why away, and I don't understand the meaning of it. I don't understand the. Uh, I think it took too much effort to change that. No, don't make that a why, because what happens is this. What happens is you create a built-in attitude for those who are predispositioned to have attitudes. Meaning, her name is Tracy or Brandy or Stephanie. That's a great one, Stephanie. And so when the teacher, young Stephanie, second grade Stephanie, she comes in and she announces herself, what's your name? My name is Stephanie. When the person writes it down, they write it down like it's always spelled. But then young Stephanie has been taught to get an attitude because her name is misspelled. This is the A.A. Ron situation, right? It's not with an E, it's just an I. And then the teacher is looking at young Stephanie like, why? What? For what purpose did you cut off the E?
I didn't pay attention, I must say, but
Okay.
I don't know why you think that would happen. But okay. Do you have issues with the lie tie? Starting off with that.
Let me.
It sounds like you have some animosity about these names.
I do, because you.
LATA.
Yes.
In
Let me
NAs,
explain why. I when I got into high school, it was far. I was far enough along for me to understand that they just really was forcing this. But I met a girl named Laderick, and I was like, "Well, what are we doing? What are we doing?" I understand Derek might have wanted a boy, but when God
Hmm.
didn't give Derek a boy, we gotta let that burn. We gotta let that burn. That's not a compromise to put a "la" on a boy's name. And then all of a sudden that's a cute girl's name. So the La Ta is really you wanted to name her Patrice, but instead you named her La Patrice. What are we? That's too much. You're doing too
Do,
much. It's
do you
confusing.
have an
Whenever
issue with the capital letter in the middle of it though?
all like that Irish shit, like McDonald, like the
Yeah,
capital M and
yeah,
the capital D. Yeah, that's trash.
yeah.
That's
L.
trash as
Oh,
well.
that's trash too. Damn.
That's trash as well. Because I
Okay,
think
so I know a dude who didn't have any boys, and the last young lady, his name was Corey, Cory.
yeah.
The daughter's name is Corey, Kori. You don't like that?
First of all, I don't like the I. We already discussed this.
Yeah.
The second thing is, look, at some point in time, you forcing it. I don't have sons. Would I have liked to have had sons? Not instead of my girls, but in addition to my girls. Yes, I would have liked the opportunity to have boys. But at some point in time, obviously after twice, I realized that's not my lot in life. I have family members that kept having kids until they had a girl. That kept not realizing the economic impact on the rest of these kids because you got a house full of kids. Y'all in the 3-bedroom. It's 9 of y'all because you was waiting on the girl or you was waiting on the boy. Like some people just don't want to accept their lot in life or they don't want to accept the situation as it's currently constructed. And so they get too cute. They get too creative. They start putting girls' names on boys' names and boys' names on girls' names. It is confusing to me to meet a girl named Erin. That is confusing.
Or Ryan. I
I,
met a Ryan.
I've met it. I met an Alex. That's it. And keep in mind, my name's
Is it
Chris. But
was it short for Alexandria?
that I and if that's the case, just keep it there. Don't shorten a girl's name into a classic boy's names. I'm not going. There's a whole nother pod for us to get into gender specific titles and things of that nature. But when you shorten girls' names into boy, when you got a a boy named Jamie, I went to school. What was Stacy's last name? Dang, I would say his name on this show because he was a white dude, real cool, but the nigga name was Stacy. And it wasn't until Stacey King started playing for the Bulls that he stopped getting talked about because he had a girl's name. I mean, let's just call a spade a spade.
Yeah,
Stacy
I knew some
had a
Stacys.
girl's name for grade school and high school. Damn, what was Stacy? I can't remember his last name now, but anyway, Stacy had a girl's name. Marion is a girl's name.
Think so?
Yes, Lord.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
I knew him when I was smaller, so I didn't know. I'm talking about my heroes, man.
I know. But
So,
that's why he went with the nickname. Think about what we're saying. I'm not saying don't.
but he had a nickname for the nickname. His nickname is Sugar Bear.
Right. But I think that's once again what he did was reinvented it because he knew, just like my best friend, like it doesn't go well younger. Now when you get older, you just embrace it. You know what I'm saying? You accept your name as Leonard. You know what I'm saying? Like in certain days when I was a kid, we made fun of certain names, especially country names. We made fun of that. It wasn't a lot of girls that had country names to my recollection, but it was some names that should have been retired. And I think what we're going to get into pretty quickly is I have never slept with a woman with an old name. And I refuse. I don't care how bad she was. There's a list of names that she couldn't have got. I would have approached her. I would have introduced myself. And as soon as she said her name and it was one of these types of names, then immediately ain't nothing I could do with that. Nothing I could do with
Okay,
that.
so let's jump into that because I'm
Okay.
confused.
Okay.
Would you sleep if you were single? Would you sleep with a
Yep.
Gail,
No.
Abigail,
No. That's too white.
Anne?
No. No.
Shit.
No.
Bernice,
Of course not.
Claire.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Yes.
Jacqueline, Jacqueline, huh?
I, only reason I'm gonna go with Jacqueline because of Boomerang. That's the
Okay,
only reason. That's the only
okay.
reason.
Let's stay on Boomerang. Eartha.
Yeah. No way.
No matter how they look.
No way. No matter how I could tell you some. One name that I'll say, and you'll say that is an old name. Luckily, it's my grandmother's name, so that's even weirder. Now, keep in mind, I'm gonna tell that we all family here. I don't call out women's names during the throes of passion, but I'm damn sure not gonna call out Hazel. Like that's just
Is that the name you're talking about?
yes, but that's my grandmother's
Oh,
name. So luckily, if she introduced herself and she said her name was Hazel, I'm not even gonna give her that stress to bring her into the family, and she got the name of my grandma's name. But let's
you
say,
said
go ahead.
now you said grandma, so I wanted to go biblical.
Yeah.
Mary.
Yeah, I could. Yes, I could. I would fuck with a Mary. I would.
Delilah.
Nope.
Delilah. Huh? No? Yeah. Delilah, man.
That's a lot. No, I wouldn't do it.
Dorothy?
No, hell no. Like she make
Dang.
pies. Sound like she make a good pie.
Esther.
No way.
Dang, why? Because of Aunt Esther?
No, this is just an old name. That's from the Bible for sure, but that's just an old name, and it's just you should stop. Once again, you shouldn't be over a certain age. You shouldn't be under a certain age and be named Viola.
Dang.
Like, why are you named? It's 1984. What the hell are you naming a young girl Viola for?
Names don't expire. It's still James out there. Even though it'd be one person, they name be James.
I'm cool with that. Once again, I think and this is obviously very, very misogynistic. I think it's different for boys.
Ooh.
I think having a young black male named Preston is not a problem for me. I think having a young black woman named Gladys is a fucking problem. Why did you do that to her?
What about Etta?
No way. That's just
James?
lazy too. That's lazy.
What about Ruth? Huh? Ruth.
No Ruths. No, not even a baby.
Okay. Hope they got that. What about Shirley, man?
Is
on,
she
man.
going
What's
by
happening?
Shirley? Okay, I understand. Is she going by Shirley?
Yeah, that's her name.
Nope, can't do it there. She should have switched it to Cheryl.
Georgette?
No, luckily that's my auntie name. That's my Aunt Gigi name.
Oh,
Yep.
okay. Well, I won't ask you Jemima. So. I don't
Oh,
really know
good
that.
Lord. No, that ain't my aunt, but I get what you're going with.
Okay. What about popular names named after somebody famous? What about an Oprah?
No way. No
We
way.
ain't talking about the talk show host. Just some random person named
No,
Oprah.
bro. No, your parents did you a disservice. It's too much explaining. I don't want a novelty broad. I don't want a chick where when I introduce her or something, it's a novelty. It's like people perk up when they hear the name. Like, what? Why would they do that? I have an issue with dudes named Kobe.
Why?
It's so that the Shaquille thing, it took off.
I knew Kobe's before Kobe.
I did not. No, I knew Koby.
Oh yeah,
before Kobe. That's a different pronunciation.
His mom was black though.
Yeah, that's a different pronunciation. I remember when I got to high school, My boy Pig was like, "Hey, I'm gonna hook you up with the dude that cut everybody hair. He lived like 2 blocks from the school, whatever, right?" And so so, so this is before cell phones and all that. So he wrote his name and address down on the paper for me, and I was like, "Just tell him I sent you. Everything is good, cool." And the haircuts was like $5-10. It wasn't a big deal. I go over to his crib. He lived 2 blocks. He lived like 6 blocks from where we lived, but 2 blocks from my uncle. I go over there, knock. You got to go to the side door because he cut hair in the basement. Knock on the door. He's like, "Hey, yeah, who is it?" I like, "Hey, I'm here to get my hair cut by Joel." He go, plug the door up and was like, "What?" I like, "Yeah, my boy Pig, Tony. He sent me over here, said I could get, that you be cutting people hair, and I just want to know when I can get in to get my hair cut." And he was like, "But you said Joel, right?" So I stood there for a second, like, what the fuck is we doing? I'm in
Right.
high school. I can read. This says Joel.
Mhm.
That is Joel. And then he was like, "Dog, man, I go by Joel." All right, then, player. Like, that has to be confusing to the teachers. I'm always thinking of the
Did
educators,
you
right?
still get the haircut?
It was not that day, but yeah, he ended up cutting me up, I think, twice after that. Yeah, he ended up.
What about Diana?
I'm cool with it, Diana. Yep, that's classic. That's gonna ride.
Or okay.
That's gonna ride.
So what about Yvette? Or like names and songs? I know Dear Yvette.
Right.
What else?
V-Box. Yeah.
I think of more names and songs. But
You know what? I think
Donna.
I don't know, man.
Donna.
No, not Donna. That's too old too.
Who's holding Donna?
These all sound like auntie names from where I'm from. Like somebody had an Auntie Donna, Auntie Yvette, with the Y.
They gonna be aunties one day.
They will be. Hey, they not sleepworthy. They not sleep members. Okay. Yeah, they not sleep members.
What about cars? Your Mercedes, your Porsches,
I have no
your
problem with that.
Lexus.
See, I came up. Now that's the era I used to fuck around with a chick named Mercedes. I never dealt. It was a cute chick named Lexus. I didn't hang out or whatever, but she was cute and she could have got it. She just never gave me the rhythm. I didn't have a problem with the Kias or any of the cars.
Mhm.
I did have a problem with any chick that was named after car. Yeah, that's one area that I didn't have an issue with at all.
You got
I
any
do have.
issues if they go by initials?
No, I don't like girls going by initials like AJ and yeah, that's
Yeah.
trash to me.
You don't
That's
like
trash.
that's trash?
That's trash to me. I also now what I do like, I remember when I was in grade school, I met my first Autumn. And I thought,
Oh, season.
yeah, the seasons, man. And so I'm cool with it. Obviously, if her name is Winter, she's probably white, but I'm cool with Autumn.
Why?
I'm cool with Autumn. I understand a Winter. I'm good with that. I'm cool with like an April. I'm cool. I don't want a chick named January. I don't want a fucking chick named Wednesday. Like that doesn't even make sense to me. You
I know
you
it's
pushing
summer.
it at this point. Summer is cool. I'm cool with a summer. See, I could be reasoned with. I don't want a chick named July. You're trying too hard. I damn
about
sure
May?
don't want to. I got an Aunt May. But if I didn't have an Aunt May, I wouldn't have a problem with it. I don't want a chick named June because that is a little older than May to me. In the lexicon of names, I'm gonna have to look up some kind of chronicle of when names became popular. But a woman named June ain't gonna work. You know what I'm saying?
May surprised me. I didn't think you'd take a May.
Yeah. May is cool. Not if she's trying to spell it all funny. Just go MAY. Just go MAY. It ain't gotta be. Once again, the spelling convention helps. My case as well. You know what I'm saying? Because imagine now. Look, this is what you didn't do in your mind. This is how my mind works. Imagine if I told you that hey man, I met this bad chick, she's so cold, blah blah blah, and her name is Gladys. but that's
Mm-hmm.
with a Z. Like, what the fuck is we doing?
Hey, I'll tell you this story because I have been enlightened.
Okay.
One of my closest friends was telling me, "Hey, man, I got these girls over here. There's one over here I want you to meet." And I'm asking questions. I don't know why. Most dudes don't, but I was asking questions and stuff. And then we got down to what's her name. He was like, yeah, her name is Mobutu. I was like, oh man, I
Nope.
ain't finna come over there.
Man, no.
But I wasn't doing nothing. And I went over there. She was 8 to 10. She was up there. She was a beautiful
She had a fanny
chick.
pack of poison darts. I don't want
No,
that.
she
But,
did. She was,
but you know what?
and whatever way you thinking in your mind is the way she looked. She looked the opposite. And I
See,
might search for a picture to show you.
this is the problem. The problem is I also have a disdain for women who, for whatever reason, they mom and dad or they moms or whatever the case may be, gave them beautiful names and knew that the child didn't have a chance at being beautiful.
So you have an issue with this?
I do have an issue. Let me tell you how I got. My same situation, because dudes do this to dudes if they cool, like they're gonna try to put you on. Dude, my boy hit me up. Hey, got a girl coming through. Her name is what's her name? I can't even think of her name. It might have been Crystal. Her name Crystal, and she got a home girl. Whoop de woo. He giving me all the isms. I'm like, okay, cool. What's her girl name? Naomi. Yes. Yes.
So you start thinking of Naomi Campbell.
Naomi is a sexy name. Like that's a good name. That name can get it, man.
Yeah.
She should have spelled her
You had to
name
run for
with
your
the
life?
N and the O in capital. Remember how we talked about McDonald?
Yeah. Damn.
It should have been N, lowercase a, capital O, M-I. That's it, man. It was man. No.
Do you have an issue with the C crystal versus the K crystal?
I do not.
Oh, okay. You coming around?
Yeah. I had a dude that I went to school with. His name was Chris, and it was Kris. And it was confusing at first, of course. And it wasn't Chris McNutt. It was Chris. It's another dude named Chris. We had like 4 Chris's in our school, but he was the
Chris
one
Parker.
with the K. So he was the one with the K. So that was cool. That was cool.
Wouldn't even entertain meeting a Drusilla?
No way. I can't get. It's a couple of things that, and keep in mind, this is not good, and it's not hopefully common for. I'm not a representative of where I'm from, but I have a problem with thick ass, minstrel show Southern accents. I think I might have told the story on one of our old pods in season 1, where I moved to Atlanta, and my pops and his wife was introducing me to a chick that went to the church. And seen a picture of her, was like, oh, yep, okay, that makes sense. And I'm old, like I'm probably like 28, probably like 28, something like that. And so yeah, she can get it for sure. And then I met her, and for the first 18 seconds, I thought she was bullshitting. Like I really thought it was a joke. I thought I was being punked.
Thought she was doing an act?
Man, imagine this. Imagine if I'm like, man, this is a new chick. Woo, she, I think, be good look for you. You like cool. And you coming up and she's looking nice. And then when she start talking, it's with a British accent, like a thick, like a chimney sweep accent, governor. Like she on that type of shit. Just go throw you off, right?
Right.
That's it. And that's what happened. And I told her I didn't even want to waste her time. Like you seem like a lovely person. I could not get past your accent, and I apologize.
You said that to her?
Yes, Lord, absolutely. It was the best way I could respect that young lady, because
I guess you did.
Yeah. But it's funny because years later, I was in Memphis, And if anybody heard of Glorilla, like that's how they talk down there. Like it's real. They leave out a lot of consonants and a few vowels. And I remember being in the facility, and it was a young lady, and it was a couple of them that had that thick Southern, in the field accent. And I was talking to somebody, and we was all in like a little group, and she started talking, and I stopped her and said, "Hold on, I have to be looking at you to understand what you say." Like I needed to see her mouth and everything. If I could just hear it, I couldn't make out nothing she was saying. I had to be looking at her and like leaning in and squinting and everything. Man, it was so thick.
Oh yeah,
It's
you
crazy.
uppity.
But yeah, you call it what you want to. I want the communication to work. So the fact that I'm there listening means that I'm not uppity. But the fact that I can't understand what you're saying, ain't no need for me to just be nodding my head up and down. I have no idea what you're saying. I don't understand the words coming out your mouth. See, you grew up in Texas, so you grew up with a lot of Spanish accents that you had to figure out and forge through. I did not. I grew up, where did nobody have real accents? We all talk like TV.
Not all of y'all.
Right?
But what issue do you have with repeat names? So the same name as an ex? Because you brought that up to me
Yes,
one
that's
day.
true.
I forgot what it was.
I did like that. And it is funny. You had a situation where I was afraid you would keep dating girls whose names started with T. And it was ironic that when I pointed it out to you, you was like, "Oh, I hadn't thought of that."
It hadn't crossed my mind at all. T is a popular girl start name offer.
I understand what you're saying, right? But at some point in time, you got to break the cycle. Like it's just like when you hooping. I'm not gonna throw you the ball back if you done made 2 in a row. I'm gonna make you go chase this ball a little bit, right? Like if these relationships ain't working out, you got to throw the ball off to the left, man. Go get it, do something different. Throw her off the stride.
S. Yeah.
So yeah. So with that's crazy. So you make it sound crazy when you say that, but what I'm saying makes sense, and the people know it. But
the people will have to comment who they agree with.
No, I think
I didn't even think about it.
2 things is gonna happen, and this is real talk. Like y'all, like, this shit is funny, but it's real. I have a girlfriend, and this is not a true story, but just go with me here on this. I got a girlfriend. Her name is Lisa, and we really in love, and we make it 18 months, and that's good business, whatever. And then 3 years, and I got another girlfriend. Her name is whatever, and I go through 3 or 4 chicks. Well, 3 years later, I ended up marrying a chick named Lisa. 2 things have just happened. My wife is wondering, did I ever really get over old Lisa?
Why would she be wondering that?
Because I was really into old Lisa. It just didn't work because of timing and all the shit that people say as the reason why shit don't work when they're young. So now I done recycled the new Lisa into the situation. That's number first. Number 2, it's encouraging as fuck the old Lisa because, he just went and got him another Lisa. She don't know nothing else about my wife, Lisa. She just know this broad happens to be the same name. And keep in mind, we go back to the beginning where I said I don't call out names in the throes of passion. But if I did, that's a cheat code. If that's the case, if my memory is that bad, and I don't just want to say the wrong name, I would just keep getting common name women because there are certain names out there like a Mary or Lisa or Felicia or something like that, where you could just find them. Like they all on the internet. Trishas, there's a lot of Trishas on the internet.
So you was afraid I was just gonna be cheating the system, yelling out T.
Yeah. I think you was getting the early head start. You was leading at the starting blocks, right? Like you was getting the early head start. But so I do not like to repeat names. I do not want to be your
but
second
you
or
had
third.
like 7 Tiffany's.
Listen, okay. Now anybody that's heard some of our old shows, y'all know that although their legal names was Tiffany, I always referred to them as Tiffany 1, Tiffany 2, and Tiffany 3. Out of respect for them and my memory.
You said it while you was dating them? Like, hey, Tiffany 3.
Not to them directly, but I always knew they was Tiffany, Tiffany 1, Tiffany 2, Tiffany 3. I'll tell you a great example of how that works in the Black community. My cousin mom was not my aunt, and she wasn't cool enough with my mom and them to call her aunt whatever, right? Like the older folks would tell you to call this person aunt this, aunt that if they cool with them. But if they don't fuck with them, they not giving you that license, right? So you just got this woman now. So what I realized was, as opposed to calling her by her first name or calling her aunt whatever, I would just start talking to her. Like I would just go in the room. If I saw her, I would just start talking. I would never refer to her by name or give her any kind of, whatever. Now, I didn't have to introduce her to people because that would have been a little awkward. Oh, this would be my cousin mom. Yeah, that's how I would have done it, I'm sure. But the moral of the story is I got so long into it after years, I was like, I never refer to her by name. Like I just come in and start talking, hey, how you doing? And this, that, like I never gave her a naming convention. And so the same way with Tiffany 1, Tiffany 2, Tiffany 3, it was I would just come in and start talking to them, never calling out their names. You know what I'm saying? I never did that. So that was my workaround that I had, inherited over the years. Just start talking to them.
But what did you say was a beautiful name? Autumn, right?
No, I said Naomi was a beautiful name.
Okay, Naomi. Let's say Naomi.
Yeah.
You meet Naomi, start dating Naomi. Everything's good. The face and personality match the name.
Yeah.
You find out 7 years ago, she changed her name from Drusilla to Naomi. Are y'all still together?
So for the sake of them knowing that you know me, what grades do I give most, first and foremost?
With grace?
Grades.
You?
Yes. I'll tell you, the grades I give most is conduct and effort. So the fact that she put the effort.
I was thinking of letter grades. Okay.
No. The fact that she put the effort into, remember I said it earlier in the conversation, you get to a point before you should have met me and I gave a damn where you could have made some adjustments and changed this. You realize it wasn't going to do you no good, being Hagatha, you know what I'm saying, trying to get a job. Like that you got to figure something else out and go by. But the jobs even allow for you to say, is this the name that have you ever been referred to by another name? Is this the name you prefer to be called? I even came up in the age in school where they would ask you, would you like to be called by your nickname or would you like to be called something else? And the teachers respected that. And we had a lot of kids that went by Junebug and Juju and all of that, you know what I'm saying? Now some kids will get a little ignorant with it just for the sake of the giggles, but because I remember being in school and I was probably in the second grade, and I think that the problem was the kid just didn't understand, and so we had to do name man, you got all that right, and then we had, and so that was, and I think the teacher was cool with it. I always had white teachers. And I think she was cool with it. And then I remember I can't remember second or third grade, but the kid, first days of school and that kind of shit. And she was like, do you have a name you prefer to be called beyond your normal name, Julius? And he was like, yeah, they call me Meat Man. Not going to be able to do that.
It's a tolerance, yeah.
Not going to be able to do that, Julius. So he was Julius. But the kids called him Meat Man. Hey, Meat Man. You know what I'm saying? Like you try to speed, I guess, as a kid. You don't know.
Do you know
the
kid, origin of that?
Yeah, I have. Man, I was a kid. I don't know, but Meat Man. Hey, yeah, that's Meat Man. It wasn't until I got older that I realized how inappropriate that was for him to tell that white lady that.
Are there any names in the DMX song that you don't agree with him speaking with? What they really want?
I don't like. Was it LaRonda?
Probably. It sounds about right.
Yeah, I didn't like LaRonda.
Or it may have just been Rhonda. Is Rhonda okay?
Rhonda is okay. I think the only thing that messed up Rhonda was Tyrone Biggums, but yeah, I'm good with Rhonda. I'm good with Rhonda. I don't like. No, I got a cousin named Ronnie, and her real name is Veronica. I don't like when you change a girl's name into a boy's name. That is very confusing to me. It's a tough situation. I played it pretty safe. Like if I named some of my, I only had like 8 girlfriends. So if I named my girlfriends' names, all of them, you'd be like, okay, yep. Like they was real. Like I stuck by the code. I knew what I was doing. And I got ran off from a couple of it was a couple chicks that was deep. They wasn't super bad. I'm gonna keep it real with you, but they was nice enough to get it if they hadn't been named that.
Name what?
It was a young lady, and her name was Charlene, and I wasn't ready.
Yeah. Anthony
I'm like
Hamilton wasn't out at the time? Or what?
No,
What's
it
wrong?
wasn't. I was a sophomore in college.
Different Strokes was out.
My name was her name was Charmaine.
Oh. Oh.
And see, that's why I thought they got cute on it. Like, why did y'all fuck? Like, Charmaine was cute. Wasn't Charmaine Janet Jackson?
No, Charlene.
Was it Charlene?
Absolutely.
Who was Charmaine?
I don't know. I heard the name before.
I'm gonna have to look that up.
That was in a show?
I'm gonna have to look that up. You sure? So Ty Bridges was talking to a woman named Charlene, huh? Or a young girl?
Charlene, yeah.
I want to go
Willis
to the information
Jackson
super
was
highway.
talking. Yeah.
I'm sorry. You corrected me. Stay in character.
Yeah, his daddy was Philip Drummond. Come on, man.
So yeah, I wasn't ready though. I wasn't ready for Charlene. It was too formal. It was too much of a formal name for a black girl to be named Charlene. I didn't like it.
Man, I don't know. I don't know what to say. I've never looked at names. I hope it doesn't taint me when I ask somebody what's their name. Like, oh no. What else? What else do you have to help us? Sum it up or whatever.
Charlene broke up with Willis. Dang. And it was Janet Jackson. Charlene was Janet Jackson.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this though. So obviously the go-to is Gladys, but there is not a name where you can see somebody and feel like, wow, she's inspiring me to, come over and offer a drink or a dance or whatever people do nowadays, a LinkedIn page or whatever people give out in these streets. And she says a name and she says her name is Jezebel, and that doesn't give you any pause. Like you don't blink, nothing. You cool with Jezebel.
I am. I'm cool.
Wow, you gotta be more judgmental.
I get to know the person. What's wrong with
Jezebel?
Her
Jezebel? You call her Jezebel.
If that's her preferred name, yeah. And
you introduce her as Jezebel.
Yeah, it's Jezebel. I'm too petty for that tonight. If I'm rocking with her, I dare anybody to say anything about this Jezebel. I'm okay with that.
I think her people did her a disservice, and she's continued to do herself a disservice by riding out with it. I don't know. It's just with all the names that could have been out there, the Kims and the Keishas and the Pams and all of the totals.
The places. What about the Paris and the Francines? Yeah. What was that one girl you called her the wrong name? I think you had called her Egypt. Yeah, you called her Egypt. I said, her name is India. Wrong place.
You see what they did there? They didn't get creative enough. It's like Atlanta having all these peace trees or Dallas having all these belt lines. Just come up with a different name. You don't have to have a whole bunch of belt lines. That's confusing. You don't have to have a whole bunch of peace trees. That's confusing. There are other names. Don't try to draft off of a different name for convenience sake. And I think that with these, it's just some of these, man, but once again, I think that some parents don't think long term when they name their kids Lamangelo. And you end up in a situation where the kids is explaining how they even got this name, and that's not fair to the kid. It's not fair to the kid. And so what I'm thinking about is my kid with this girl. And when my kids got to go to school, see, I don't know if kids are as cruel as they was when I was a kid, but when my kids go to school and their mama name is Esmeralda, they getting roasted, right? I'm doing it for the children.
Got any more points?
I think my last point is I also
I'm at a loss.
I'm also very I'm also very sensitive to people who name their pets real people's names.
Oh damn!
Your pet should be it should be a Spike or a Butch or a wolf or a king, or it should be a more animated affiliated name. But when you got a dog named Mike, what? Why did you do that?
What about
Michael?
A person named King or Butch?
That's ignorant too. That's ignorant as well. Just because those is old. Like when I think of you, hey, my cousin Butch is coming over. I think he has a switchblade. Like that's the first thing I think. This is walk around with a switchblade. He gonna have a Kango on. Like he has not evolved.
All butches will cut you.
He seems like a person that has brass knuckles in his pocket. His name is Butch. But yeah, when you have so just now that we gonna get this whole naming thing on out the way. If you have a pet, name your pet a pet's name. Don't name it or name it a derivative of a human name or a famous person. I think that's funny. But don't name it a real name because that can also lead to confusion. That's you at the veterinarian, they're like, Jeffrey Adams. Jeffrey Adams and his owner. Like what? And his owner? why did they name the cat Jeffrey Adams? That's so just there's a lot to be said in a name, and there's a lot that rides on the naming convention. I mean, names, we could go through the history of how names have come about, surnames, last names and first names, and how they've identified people. And there's a lot of pride in people from a name perspective, especially when you get into the thirds and the fourths and last names that have prestige behind with the Kennedys and, this type of things of the world, the Montagues and whatnot. There's a couple of famous last names throughout history, the Khans, right? But it's a title more than a name. But the moral of the story is, because it's something that it's the greatest tattoo that has ever existed. It's something that goes on with your child beyond their physical presence, beyond what they represent. That name is going to be with them for good, and it's going to be with them after they're gone. So please take the time to be mindful of of what you're naming your child. When you have a daughter and you name her Mystery, that's not good for her. You know what I'm saying? I know girls named Magical and Destiny that don't strip. This is like they real name that because the moment was embracing the mom, she took it upon herself to name this daughter Hope or that. And I'm not tripping on the hope or the faith or any of these religious type of things, but just know that your kid got to wear this and use this and absorb this from now on and be considerate. And that's so when I meet a young lady and her name is something that I realize her parents wasn't really prepared to have her because they shouldn't have named you this if they were. That like, they really see something on a napkin or, you know what I'm saying? I'm not going to talk to a girl named Biscuit. Like, is that a nickname? No, that's my real name, but they spell it with 2 Q's. No. You don't deserve me, Biscuit. You don't. You don't. Your mom didn't prepare you for a man like me. So that's my final point is be mindful of your children's names, not only for their resume sake, but for their dating sake and for their kids' sake at school, getting joned on by other kids.
This concludes another episode of the Hollow Points Podcast, where we act as your therapeutic outlet on topics many think about but are afraid to speak on.
Oh, you're welcome.